It's the real side of H-Town, 97.9 The Box, the Madd Hatta Morning Show. We got some special guests in the studio this morning with us. Writer, attorney, producer, actress. Jalene Mack is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Did I say author?
Author, yes I am.
Author.
Best-selling author.
Also in the studio with us, father, son, manager, mogul, writer, teacher, professor, player from the Himalayas, Mathew Knowles, ladies and gentlemen, in the studio.
That's basketball player. Don't forget. Basketball player.
And former basketball star. Best known for beating J Mack on several occasions in the studio.
Rematch.
Now, I mean, both of you guys have so much going on, but definitely let me just real quick, let's jump into what you got going on. You have a symposium that you're doing. Let's give all information on that. And then I want to backtrack and let people know who may not know who Miss Mack is or Mathew knows. Tell them a little bit about yourself so we can get them up to speed on a lot of the things you got going on.
MPAC, which is Mack Performing Arts Collective, is a nonprofit, and we are bringing the MPAC Music Symposium 2018. It's a biannual event. We're bringing it to the city of Houston. It will be at U of H on March 24th. We have 5 panels, 20 speakers. Mathew Knowles is one of our signature speakers, and we're very excited about bringing information, education, connections, and access for people related to the music business. One thing that we have as a challenge, we have no BREs anymore. We have no Jack the Rappers anymore. Right. So people don't have anything to go to other than a Google search or their textbooks to really get information, but they're not getting practical information per se, and they're not hearing from people who have the experience, have the wisdom to share, who have done it to share that information. And there's no sense in reinventing the wheel, but there's certainly some ways of being new and improved. But hey, why don't you listen to people who have done it before that can point out the pitfalls, right? And that could also just help you be successful in today's music industry.
Why don't you see these kind of things anymore? Why don't we see these kind of events anymore? Is it because of the internet and people think that it's easy for you to go online and get the information? I really don't know. I used to think that these conferences were very, very helpful to get you information. And a lot of times you did get to speak to the Mathew Knowles and the Jalene Macks, people who have been in the industry, done it, have already failed, have already succeeded as well. And you could get that practical knowledge, but you're right. You can't get it from anywhere anymore. So, and while I'm asking you that, and then is it also a risk to do something like this on the financial side, if you don't mind me asking?
We're a nonprofit,
right? So
we are here to serve. You know, our mission is to cultivate the interests of performing and visual arts by exposing, educating, and entertaining the masses.
Okay.
So this is the platform that I've built. I'm an entertainment lawyer. Before I was a lawyer, I was an actress. So I'm an artist. I'm on both sides. I'm a producer, a playwright, a writer. I'm very involved in the trenches of the business. And so I know what we're missing, what we need. And one of the things being here in the Houston market, 1,500 miles outside of Hollywood, in theory, really, because Hollywood is everywhere now, we don't have access. And so my platform is designed to have access. I have all these relationships. I have great relationships with someone like Mathew Knowles. Relationships in this business is everything.
Right.
So it doesn't grow the entertainment industry here in Houston if I keep them all to myself. So I created this platform to do just that. You know, I have these relationships, and how can I get the city to benefit from them? So one of the things that we do among not just music, but we support people in acting, playwrights, filmmaking, you name it. If it's related to arts and entertainment, that's what we're here for. So when you ask, why don't we see as many of these type of conferences around? One, I think there's the people who used to do them obviously have gotten older and faded out. Okay. 2, yes, we have this digital platform now, so you get everything online. You can download your classes. You can download a video on YouTube. Everything is so accessible online, which means it's more cost efficient also to do everything online. Not knocking that at all. But there's nothing like touching and feeling and being in somebody's presence, you know, that have done it before. And then also a lot of our moguls in the business are just that. They're moguls now, so they're not so accessible. So we won't see the P. Diddy's like we used to. He has Revolt, but we won't see him like we used to back in the day, the producers that were showing up at these conferences time and time again, that had the time, that would create the access to them, because now they have so much going on. P. Diddy's not just music, and I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah, I got you.
He's not just music, he's everything else. So it's always on, to me, the person that that obviously has the time, that still has the passion, that still has the desire to give back to the next generation, that hasn't gotten so big and that they've forgotten about everybody else, that also believes in the dreamer and realizes there's still children, there's still aspiring young musicians, young artists left behind that just can't pay to get to New York. Right. They can't pay to get to California. They can't afford it, but their dreams are big and they're real, and we need somebody to reach back to them. So, Mathew, I'm sure you have an opinion on that because you're very high up in the music industry and you're dealing with this.
Mathew has an opinion on something.
What's your question, young
man?
man?
No, before I talk to Mathew, so give him the date, give him the time, and how much will it cost for people to be a part of it? 5
panels, 20 experts, and these experts range from labels, recording artists, musicians, people behind the scenes, in front of the camera, law professors, lawyers, artist development personnel. Every aspect of the business will be discussed. 5 panels from 10 to 5 p.m. at U of H, $20. That comes out to $4 per panel.
Gotcha.
Okay. If you are in college, it's only $10. Do the math.
Okay.
If you are a high school student, it is free. Everything that we do starting with the high school student in mind, because they're the next to go out into the working force. They're the next to go out to further their education, but they are where our dreams begin. They represent where our dreams begin. And so we want to provide access to them for absolutely nothing. Obviously, MPAC doesn't make a killing on things like this. It's not designed to do that. Every dollar we get just goes into our next event, or it goes into our operation costs, of which our next event is a comedy workshop, our annual comedy workshop.
Gotcha.
But anyway, yeah, really cheap. And you can go to www.impact-arts.org, which is MPAC-arts.org, and get all the information and register today. Plenty of seats available. And we are here to share the information. It's a biannual event. That's very important for me to say because that means every other year we're doing this. This is not every day. This is not every weekend. We are not in the cities where this happens all the time.
Right.
So again, we're trying to fill a need, fill a void. And so hopefully people get to come out. And even if you're not in the music business, but because you're in arts and entertainment, you should always go where other people in the entertainment business are. Because although I'm a musician, I might also be an actor. So I may show up to this conference and meet a filmmaker. Right. You know what I mean? So there's always ways to, cross market what you do or see where the arts and entertainment intersect with other people. So it's always best to show up. I always tell people you cannot sit at home and wait for opportunities to happen. You have to get up and you have to go out. I'm in the entertainment industry. You can tell by my social media that I'm obviously in the entertainment industry. I go and I support every opportunity I can where I see fellow people in arts and entertainment doing things, whether it's a play, whether it's a concert, whatever. And also when somebody comes to town, whether it's Oprah, whoever it is, if you're in arts and entertainment, I try to go to those events because sitting at home is not going to make anything happen. And forming relationships and getting out and networking and connecting and learning from somebody else is really what it's about. Gotcha. So,
all right. So this is happening on March 24th, University of Houston Law Center. $20 a ticket. $10 for college students, free for high school students, I believe you said. You can go online and register, www.impact-arts.org, and be a part of it. It's going on from 10 in the morning till 5 o'clock. Now, Mathew Knowles is also a part of this. Now what's going to be your contribution, Mr. Knowles?
Well, let me tell you this. When I started out in the industry, I was new.
Yes, sir.
Although I had been in corporate for 20 years. Went back to Houston Community College and took artist management and some other courses. But it was these seminars. I went maybe to 20, 30 seminars, and that's where I learned the industry. That's where I built relationships, as we were just talking about. And that's the key, is networking and building relationships and hearing from people who's failed as well as been successful. So I applaud you so much, Attorney Mack.
Thank you very much.
I applaud you for what you're doing. And quite frankly, if someone is not at this event, they don't want to be in the industry. And they don't deserve to be in the industry, quite frankly. I mean, because there's no passion.
Right.
There's no passion. And that's the number one trait to be successful in this industry. You have to have passion that coexists with work ethics. So if folks not at this event for $10, some of it's free for your high school or $20. They don't really deserve to be in the music industry.
Let me ask you.
I would be the first to reject them any way I could make sure they didn't make the industry. Because they don't want it. And it's just a waste of time.
Do you see a lot of, you were passionate to do what you did. There was a lot of sacrifice that goes into what Mathew Knowles had to do to get Destiny's Child and Beyonce out there. Do you still see people as passionate about the industry as, it seems like it's a different time to me. And it could be from my position. Maybe I don't get a chance to see a lot of the startups and things of that nature, but I know so many people come up to you. Do you still see true passion of people who really want to be in this industry, music, acting, entertainment, etc.?
You know, I'm grateful. I've been very fortunate that, working with Earth, Wind and Fire and Shaka Khan and OJs and Trinity 5-7, Leandra Johnson, all of these artists were the 1%.
Yeah.
So I've got to work with the 1%. The success rate in this business is only 1%. 99% of it is losing money for the label and failure. Mm-hmm. So I'm only concerned about that 1%. And yes, they are extremely passionate. They work their butts off and they practice. I guarantee you Beyonce's practicing right now for the tour. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just wanting that 1%. I want to surround myself with that 1%, and that 1% would be at the seminar.
They should be.
They would be.
Yeah.
And they will
be.
Right. That 1% that really, really want this and really want to make the commitment and the sacrifice. So I'll be there talking about media entrepreneurship, something that I teach in grad school at Texas Southern. And we'll talk about how to start a record label, and we'll talk about artist development and what's required to really be the best at this. I'm about talking about greatness. I'm not about talking about average. I'm not accustomed to average.
Write that down.
Now, is there really a way possible in this technology world that we live in now? Is all that stuff that you're going to be talking about, is it even truly necessary? Because we see so many people now, they can become Instagram stars and YouTube stars, and they went through half of some of the stuff that Mathew Knowles had to do with his kids.
But is it longevity? Mm-hmm. Is it A, longevity, which the answer is no. And second, can they perform on a stage? Mm-hmm. The answer is no.
Well, thank you for the interview. I mean, that's actually, you know what, that's actually serious what you said. That's a good point. But they are the flavor of the month right now. But the flavor of the month still gets paid and still makes a little bit of money. But you're right. You're talking about longevity. And I don't know, are we looking at a generation of artists that are really looking down the road? Like, I think you were looking down the road for your girls. You weren't thinking that this was just a one-hit wonder kind of like group. You were all in. I don't know if this generation thinks along those terms. I mean, I could be wrong. Jalene, you see a lot of actors and producers. I don't know if people really think long-term. I think they think the one big shot, and I don't know. Again, it could just be me.
But I think that's the purpose of these seminars, is to enlighten and be informative, to let folks know what's required. Because you also need a team. Mm-hmm. You need an accountant. So if I was an accountant, I would be at this seminar because I know there's going to be some success. Mm-hmm. So I want to be there. If I was a hairstylist, I'd be at this seminar because somebody is gonna need to be.
See, I don't think people think like that though, Mathew. See, you're thinking full. See, again, this is what makes you the 1% you just talked about, because there are different aspects to what it takes to make it. I don't care if it's movies. I don't care if it's music. Like you said, accountant is a part of this thing. Being a lawyer is a part of this thing. Management is a part of this thing. The artist and the performance, the person that has to help them with the dance routines. I think a lot of times when people I think we look at Instagram these days and YouTube and we're seeing these instant stars, and those things have not been thought out.
Right.
And I think we see it so often. I don't know if people acknowledge the work that's required to be a long-standing artist. And so I guess that's why I brought up that point about, do we really see people who have the true passion that really want this to go much further than me being a YouTube sensation for the next year or two?
I think we do. I just think it's knowledge people don't know. Just like 20 years ago, people didn't know technology changed. Technology went from the CD, from a cassette to a CD.
Right.
Everybody got panicked and nervous. Now we're streaming.
Nobody likes change.
Yeah, but change is good. It's painful. It makes us better. So I think it's important that our young people come for the experience and understand. But again, it's also that support team. I know we didn't talk a lot about that. You just did. That support team should be there. I always say the answer is in the room. People want to run up to me. If I was an artist, and I do this, I don't want to give it away, but if I was an artist and there was a producer in the room, and if there was a songwriter in the room and a video director in the room starting out, I would be all over to talk
that's your
to
first.
them and say, hey, let's go in the studio.
Let's work together.
You write this song. This video. Let's put it up. That's the advantage now of technology. Let's put it up on YouTube. Let's put it up on social media. Let's get feedback because the audience doesn't lie.
Let me add to that a couple of things. One, when you say any and everybody really should be there if you're affected by the industry, this is very true. MPAC's education program is certified by the Texas Education Agency. What that means is if you're a teacher out there and you attend any of our events, you can get professional development hours. There's a reason for that. They want teachers to come out and learn practical experience so they can take it back to the classroom. So if you're a music teacher or, again, a theater teacher or whatever, you should be able to come to this kind of workshop, gather some information, and then go back and talk to your kids about it. Especially your kids that have a strong interest, a compelling interest in pursuing careers in arts and entertainment. That's one thing. Some of the topics, so that people can see other reasons why they should come, we cover team building. We cover building a brand, which is very, very important. People think just because you're on social media, you're a brand all of a sudden. And you could be, but how are you building it, protecting it, and nurturing it? We discuss intellectual property. Not everybody understands that you should be copywriting your work, okay? And if you're a brand, you should be filing your trademarks. We cover music publishing. We're talking about label entrepreneurship, radio play, TV and film placement. So a lot of these tracks out here, these songs that people have,
a lot of that money in that TV, but that's where it's at.
That TV money is good money.
Yes, it is.
Getting your songs played in commercials. Look at the commercials during the Super Bowl.
Great money in
Great
that.
money. So some of those topics we're covering. But a story I want to share about longevity. Mathew knew me first from when I used to get my hair done at Headliners. Tina used to do my hair, and I remember seeing him coming in, and I remember the girls and everything when they were girls' time and all that stuff in the salon over the years. Fast forward, I worked with, if you guys remember Hillary Como, he started a company called Clippers Productions, and we used to do these crawfish festivals. I was over, because I was an entertainment lawyer, I was over acquiring all the entertainment. Reached out to Mathew and I asked if his girls who weren't out yet, Destiny's Child, they weren't out yet, if they would perform at our crawfish festival. And I think this was during April, but the album didn't come out till over the summer or something like that. One of the reasons why he said yes, not because there was a whole lot of money involved, okay, but because he thought it was important that the girls build their stage presence.
Right.
So not only did I get them one day, I got them 2 days, and I always joke with him, I think I paid him a couple of $100 back then. And I told him I found the contract, and he said, give me a copy of it. And I was like, I'm putting this on eBay. But I didn't even know what I was seeing unfold. I didn't know that they were going to be so great, And they did perform No, but I mean, who knew that was going to catapult them out of the universe? So when you say put the time in, you're talking about being humble, taking advantage of opportunities that you don't necessarily see everything so great about them at the moment, but just know that they're stepping stones to a greater platform into your greatness. If you are out there listening and you even know somebody who has dreams of singing, people sitting around talking about, I wish I could audition for The Voice, if I could be on American Idol, wishing, you should tell people about this opportunity for this symposium. And if you're not in Houston, it is worth putting a little gas in your car and
Rolling
coming
down.
over here and just being in the mix. I'm telling you, being around like minds sometimes is just enough motivation and inspiration in and of itself.
Agreed. All right, again, it's going down March 24th. It's the MPAC Music Symposium going on at the University of Houston at the Law Center. $20 for everyone, $10 for college students, free for high school students, 10 in the morning till 5 o'clock. That's it. You're giving up a Saturday. Is that correct?
It's a Saturday, yes.
Giving up a Saturday so you can learn about the industry from some of the greats of the industry that can give you a lot of information.
Yeah, I like those buzzwords. You're giving up a Saturday to gain a career.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm laughing, but you're right.
It's true.
You know what?
One day.
Sacrifice is everything. Are you willing? And you started by talking about this. Are you willing to make the sacrifice to be great? Everyone is not willing to make the sacrifice to be the 1% that you spoke of when you first started.
And
That's
not
the
just
truth.
sacrifice, an investment in yourself.
How about that? That's what it is.
It's $20.
Go online, register right now, www.impact-arts.org. Go there, register right now. Jalene Mack, attorney, author, producer, woman, extraordinary black woman, Mathew Knowles as well. I can give you a list of things as well, Mathew.
Extraordinary black woman, and then Mathew Knowles.
Mathew Knowles, extraordinary black man.
The year of the woman.
Yeah, right now the women thing is going. It's hot. It's hot right now. It's hot right now, son. You got to go with it. It's hot right now.
Put a gap in between.
I'm sorry. I'll pause next time.
That's all.
Here's in a studio the other day we got into a conversation. I don't know if it was the day or yesterday, and we were talking about superstars. And I mentioned your daughter. I said I think we're seeing the last of the huge superstars. I think because of YouTube, because of Twitter, and all these different social devices, I don't think that we're going to see Madonnas and Michael Jacksons anymore. There was some debate in here that there will be. I just don't think it's possible anymore. And I think we seeing your daughter, she's one of the few last that we still have of the international superstar. And I'm just curious, since I have you sitting here, would you agree with that or not, that we're seeing the last in this generation, the last of the mega superstars who will be able to go to Europe and do huge shows, who will be able to, they can go all over the planet and do huge shows. Would you disagree with that?
Looking at the base that we have right now, we have some work to do. But I do believe that talent will continue to develop.
I think we'll still have talented people, but on that level.
We have, you're talking now 1/10 of 1%.
He just cut that down some more. No, but it's true. I'm with you. I'm with you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's a real money. When you say, Beyonce, you're talking Michael Jackson. You're talking that level. And
this ain't a father just bragging. I just want to be clear. It's just what it is.
First of all, I'm an educator now. And when I talk, it's because of research.
You better let him know, Mathew Knowles.
It's because of research. Dr. Knowles, by the way.
Okay. Heck,
I knew that PhD on that book was going to come back and shoot me soon. Sorry, doctor. Continue, sir.
No, but I'm just saying that, yes, I do believe that
there will still,
there will be others to follow.
Okay.
But, being in that 1% is not bad. Seeing like Solange now, she's averaging 15, 16,000 people when she performs now.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a bad company to be in.
You're sure right. Because everybody can't do it, sir.
Everybody can't do that. We only have that still in that 1%. So, again, it's about, first of all, starting with passion. People think it's about talent. Talent is important, but you have to have the image. You have to have the songs first. They have to be great songs, because if you have all the other in a whack song, it equals whack.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have, it's a combination. You have to have a great team. All of that becomes the ingredient.
But you know what? Mathew Knowles didn't have none of that before he got started. Why is he so lucky?
I did.
Why did you? How did you find your way? Because everyone doesn't find the Mathew. Everybody's not born with Beyonce and Solange.
Yeah. Well,
right?
For me, it was because I came from corporate America, and I was fortunate, and I'm always have gratitude to be the #1 sales rep in the world at Xerox Medical Systems to sell MRI and CT scanners. So I had a different background, and I was smart enough to go back to school, and I was smart enough to go to every seminar that I could. So we were back to these seminars. I was and smart enough to build relationships, and smart enough to ask every question while everybody else was being quiet. I was asking questions. I wanted to understand how does publishing work. I wanted to understand how does the record label departments work. So that's the difference for me, and having that passion and that drive. You know, it wasn't just for Destiny's Child. As you know, my first artist that I got signed was not Destiny's Child.
Wasn't it Little O?
It's Lil O.
Yeah.
MCA Records was the record label for Black America back then. People don't know.
I don't think a lot of people know that about your history.
They don't.
Matthew, no?
They don't. They just think it was Destiny's Child. That's the Jedi mind trick. But the first artist was Lil O.
Yeah.
And if you look at his first single, Can't Stop, it features this group called Destiny.
This is true. This is facts.
So what made you want to work with Lil O? I'm just curious.
Well, as I was starting out, I started going to these seminars, and that's where I found Lil O.
Wow.
See? The
You
discovery
see how
to be made.
this is why he Matthew Knowles. You see how he linked that all together and came back to the MPAC Music Symposium? That boy
Right.
good.
And I want to say something about the very essence of what he's saying goes to education and
Yeah, no
never
doubt.
thinking that you know everything.
Yeah.
And that you can always be taught something.
Yeah.
And you should always invest in yourself and at a minimum by educating
Yeah,
yourself.
no doubt.
Yeah,
No doubt,
so-
no doubt. I'm glad to have you guys here. You know, I could talk to Matthew and you, Jalene, for a long time. I know you have something. I don't know what your role is in Fifth Ward. Can you tell me what it is?
I am the production attorney, a producer, and an actress. So I wear all my hats just
In the Fifth
about
Ward
in
series that
Fifth
they got
Ward.
going on television
The
right
Fifth
now?
Ward TV
You doing
series.
all that?
I play
You go, Black
Wanda
woman.
Kennedy, a recurring role. I'm the wife to Nephew Tommy's character.
Okay.
And so, I've been with Greg a very, very long time. That's my family. It's like my blood brother. So I'm always going to support him. But I would tell you, although we are as close as we are, initially he made me audition for him. He was
Really?
he was not playing. He
Really?
did not just give me a role. So trust and believe, whenever you see me show up, it's because I earned that spot. So
Okay.
yeah,
all right.
but
I don't think nobody was questioning you.
nah,
but I'm glad
yeah,
you went ahead and
but
put
you
it
know
out
how
there
folks
anyway.
are like, she just in there
Who
because
cares? You're gonna, let me
I
tell you.
earned my spots.
Matthew can tell you better than me. It's gonna always be somebody gonna have something to say.
Yeah, always.
And absolutely,
always.
you have nothing to prove because you have the stats to prove it.
Yeah.
As Matthew knows, will also tell you, and let the stats do all the talking.
Yeah, do all the talking. And I want to thank you for having me up here because you extended an opportunity for me to come and talk about MPAC, and it was all about me. I'm the one that brought Matthew in, so you didn't let him overshadow MPAC and what I'm doing in any way. So I appreciate that
All the time.
and appreciate Matthew participating in.
Matthew knows.
discussion.
Matthew knows he can come up here anytime. Though. That's why he don't care.
Hey, I have to tell you, you know that the movie, The Tomb Raider, right?
Tomb Raider, yeah.
Tomb Raider?
right?
Mhm.
Laura Croft.
Have y'all seen and heard, Survivors? And
Yeah.
it's the highest sync license ever. And had it not been for 97.9 The Box,
Hey.
we would have never wrote, I'm a co-writer, we would have never wrote Survivor. Because some of the DJs was on the air saying, those girls are like moving around like survivors. They're getting rid of them. And then
And you had an aha moment.
it was because of 97.9
We said that on the
The
morning show.
Box.
We did the whole game, Survivor Island.
Oh, there you go. I knew it was you. But because of that.
So then that means you're gonna cut us part of the check.
No, they come like
we're involved,
that. I just want to tell you, thank you.
Nice round of applause.
All that was just to say thanks. We still get nothing. Thank you.
But we've had a great, this is like family.
Yeah.
I do love you guys and appreciate what you do, and you work so hard in the community. And that's very important part is to give back to the community. And all of you, I've known all of you for a long time.
Yeah.
You all give back to the community.
Well, thank you. I can say it a million times, but thank you. You've
And
always
one
been
last
extra
question.
honest, and I always appreciated that.
I have one last question. Earlier you talking about Beyonce. She's probably working hard, practicing for the tour. As we know, she's gone vegan for Coachella, but she hasn't released music in a minute. So, what can do you know anything of what we could expect
This girl
from
loves
Coachella?
your daughter.
She's actually my real mom.
She loves.
So,
This girl
I know.
loves your daughter. This is for real.
Big
This is not
news
a
for
joke.
you. You're actually my grandfather.
Yeah.
musically,
She
You
didn't
didn't
know.
know that.
Something else she didn't know.
but I'm just wondering, we gotta expect something new from Beyonce.
I have no idea.
No idea the Coachella.
I have no idea. Really. I mean,
look, if you want to say that Beyonce and her husband are getting ready to drop this incredible, crazy album,
We know this.
this is the place to say it. Go crazy, man.
My role is father, grandfather. That's my role. That is my role with Solange and Beyonce. I play the role of father and grandfather. I don't get involved with their music and their business.
No advice or nothing, really?
No, I don't. I might do some of it a little differently, but
Will you go to the show at least?
I always go to the show. I always do that.
I didn't know that. Was that a hard, since you brought it up, was it hard for you to say, you know what? It is time for them to do what they do, and it's time for me to play my position and back up.
Well, I talk about it in my book.
Yeah,
Racism from the eyes
On
of a
page.
child.
Right.
Thank you for the setup.
Right.
Thank you
Available
for the
now.
setup.
Online.
See, you
For
know
those
what
of-
to
for
set
those
that
of-
up. He
Please.
set that up, didn't he?
And
Written by Mathew Knowles, PhD.
Dr. Knowles.
Dr. Knowles, please, not Beyonce's daddy. Dr. Knowles,
There he goes.
professor, instructor, etc., etc.
Grandfather.
Pick up the book now. Thank you. We appreciate you all.
Go to MathewKnowles.com.
but now let me give some credit to Beyonce.
Uh-oh.
I'm here for it. Go ahead.
Since the whole discussion about non-disclosures, my law practice has gone up 50%. I do discuss
my
non-disclosures in my new book, The Business of Stage, Screen, and the In-Between. My practical advice for filmmakers. And
Wait.
let's get that.
Non-disclosure came up with the
Yeah, no.
president this morning. That was the news.
How about, yeah.
guy
Because,
from your daughter.
because of the girl.
Yeah.
You're sure right. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
coming back. She's not going to be able to get out of that, though. She's not going to get out of that. And let your daughter know we are willing and able here at the Madd Hatta Morning Show to sign whatever is necessary to be at any particular party
Right.
at any time.
And I'll draft that
Do a
up.
tattoo. You never know. Like,
Not going there, sir.
I just want to know, are you playing a record?
The DJ
are we
Khaled?
playing the
yeah.
record?
This is like
For you to even ask the question
it's
if
just on
anybody
pause
in
right
America
now.
is playing your kid's record,
I just
really,
wanna-
really,
On
sir.
repeat.
Play a record. I just want to know.
All right, we're playing. Beyonce is one of the biggest stars. Man, I'm not even justifying that with a conversation. Y'all say goodbye. Mathew Knowles, Jalene Mack. Y'all have a wonderful morning.
you,
Thank y'all so
Thank you.
much.
Always
having us.
enjoyed it. Thank you.
Hey, we got it in rotation tonight.